Hello Real Estate, George here, a unit manager from Philippine Homes and a PRC accredited and DHSUD registered salesperson under broker license number 0021980. And today, let us talk about the buying tips, or more specifically, the 7 advanced steps you must take before buying your first condominium. But before we proceed, please help this channel reach 5,000 subscribers by simply clicking on the subscribe button. Try it, it's free, and you get to be notified for any future videos coming up from this channel. Now let's face it, owning a condo 5 to 10 years ago would seem like an option only for the rich and is not really looked at as a residential option but merely as a temporary location. But that was 10 years ago, and since then a lot have changed. And if you have not been in Cebu in the past 5 to 10 years, you would be surprised by the rapid development in the area. New roads, widened roads, circumferential roads, bridges, 5-star casinos, townships, and beachside living are a common sight. Now these progress, even during this pandemic, encourage investors and real estate developers to build vertical residences in prime location that have an easy access to transportation, or better yet, either walking distance from work or what they call as live where you work home office setup. And mind you, the price and payment scheme are very much affordable. Here in Cebu, you can already own a pre-selling condominium for as low as 5,000 pesos equity per month. That is like spending 166 pesos per day. Now it seems like the signs are there and the time is right to finally get your condo. Well, before you decide on getting your first condominium, I'm gonna teach you 7 advanced checks you must do before buying your first condominium. Check number 1. Always check for a license to sell. Well, this is required by law. There are some developers that try to go around this law. This is very important because an LTS guarantees that the developer has complied with all the requirements needed even before accepting reservation payments. Check number 2. Check if the condominium promotes social distancing and support health protocol. We are not out of the woods yet. COVID is still around the corner, and there is nothing in the world that we would want than feeling safe in our own residence. While condominiums typically are not very liberal in giving much space, especially in business districts, you must ask your real estate agent how many units are in one floor and how many elevators are allotted. A good elevator to units ratio for residential condominium should be about 1 elevator to 10 units. If your condo is mixed use, meaning there are office spaces where employees come and go, or SOHO, meaning small office, home office setup, ratio should be 1 elevator to 5 to 8 units. Check number 3. Check the size, because one size do not fit all. As a first-time buyer, you must understand the difference in size and price can make or break the deal. Do you want a studio unit or a 1 or 2 bedroom unit? What do you need it for? I always ask this to my clients to understand their need and so I can better help in their decision making. I usually recommend that if it is for investment, like for rental, they should choose small studio units, but they buy 2 or 4 or more. This would later on help them leverage the occupied units versus the not occupied, compared to buying one big unit where occupancy is either 100% or 0%. Check number 4. Check your patience, because it is not unlimited. If you check in the websites, the most important factor in investing is your financial readiness. That is true, but what I say is true as well. Investing in your first condominium is the ultimate test of your patience. You will be so excited and cannot sleep, and you will probably ask for a layout from your friends on Facebook or look for an interior design in Instagram or in Pinterest. But construction takes time, especially for pre-selling projects. Regular construction takes 3 to 4 years. You might have the money, but is your mindset in the right place? Are you ready for delayed gratification? Are you okay with paying equity every month without having something to show for? Check number 5. Check your age. Buying your first condominium unit when you are in your 30s is different when you're buying in your 60s. While owning your first condominium does not discriminate in age as long as you have 2 valid IDs and a TIN number, you might be challenged with in applying for bank or pag-ibig loan if you buy a condominium unit when you are already late in your career. It does not mean that the bank or pag-ibig will deny your loan application, but the terms will be considerably different. It is because when pag-ibig or bank assess your application, it will only factor in your productive years, which leads me to the next check, which is check if you can do co-ownership. This is a common setup, especially for families where the parents include their children of legal age to be their co-owner. This is also allowed even with friends or people in a relationship. The objective is to distribute and lessen financial burden or have longer term approval, and at the same time have a property under your name and enjoy the benefits of investments. But you must make sure that you understand the responsibilities and the risk of having a co-owner. You cannot remove a co-owner easily. You have to apply for redocumentation, and there are fees associated with these changes, not to mention the stress of having to go through that experience. And the last check is check if you can afford the amortization, a very important check before buying your first condominium. An amortization is different from an equity. While most pre-selling condos right now have an equity of 5 to 10,000 pesos per month, it does not make the amortization any more affordable. In fact, the opposite happens. The lower your equity is, the higher your amortization will be. Ask your real estate agent for an estimate computation based on the current rate and the total contract price of the unit that you are planning to buy. And there are also financial loan computations online that you can use as reference. Standard amortization rate among banks and pag-ibig are between 5 to 7% depending on the repricing period. This should give you an idea on how much you have to pay monthly for the amortization. So there you have it, 7 advanced steps you must check before buying your first condominium. Once again, this is George Ryan Sarmago, Unit Manager from Filipino Homes. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay at home, and peace.